Here comes for first place, Sioux On behalf of the entire Sioux City Explorers organization, we would like to take a moment to congratulate field manager George Samus and the St. Paul Saints on clinching the 2015 American Association North Division Championship earlier today. Now, fans, we would ask that you please rise if you're able and direct your attention to the flags flying in center field. For tonight's national anthem, the Sioux City Explorers are pleased to welcome Kristen Leadrew singing tonight's national anthem.
Welcome back to Lewis and Clark Park on this Thursday evening as the Explorers and the St. Paul Saints get ready to meet in the final game of this three-game series. The Explorers winning here on Tuesday night 8-3. St. Paul winning last night 5-3. As the Saints have taken 3 out of the 5 games played this season between these two ball clubs, and this won't be the last game they play. Next week, matter of fact, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, next week the Explorers will be in St. Paul for a 3-game series. After tonight, it will be Kansas City coming in here to Lewis and Clark Park for a 4-game series. The T-Bones will be here through Monday. We're about ready to go with baseball. Ryan Strufing on the mound for the Explorers tonight, making his second start with the Explorers. His last outing was a start on Saturday at Sioux Falls. Went 5 2/3 innings, gave up 1 run, 3 hits, walked 3, struck out 4. and got the win 2-1 over Sioux Falls. Stepping in to lead it off for St. Paul tonight will be Alonzo Harris, right-handed hitter. And the first pitch is down low and inside, ball one, and we're underway at 7:09 Central Daylight Time here on this Thursday night under partly cloudy skies and 83 degrees. Strufing with a 1-0 pitch, swing and a foul tip, and it's a ball and a strike. Harris has had 2 hits, 10 at-bats against the Explorers this season. The right-handed hitter, Strufing the wind and the pitch, swing and a miss, strike 2. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. I guess the old saying, if you can't beat them, join them, huh? Well, Strufing, one of his losses this year was to the Explorers, 3-0 at Lincoln, and then just a few days later he was traded from Lincoln to the Explorers. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Harris. Fouls it right at the plate, and it stays a ball and 2 strikes. His other loss was to Kansas City on July the 16th. Went 5 innings, lost that game 11-2. Just out of Long Beach State. Left-hander Ryan Strufing from Longmont, Colorado. And the 1-2 pitch. Punch foul back to the screen. And it stays 1 ball and 2 strikes on Harris. Harris, in last night's game, he went 0 for 5. So he's 2 for 10 in this series. Had his 4-game hitting streak snapped in last night's game. St. Paul won it 5-3. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Harris. Ground ball toward third, and it will go foul. Fielded by Mendoza to the left of the third base bag. So it stays 1 ball and 2 strikes. Defensively, the Explorers a little different look tonight with Kelgard at first, Cord at second, Perillo at shortstop, Mendoza at third. Keys is playing left field tonight. Johnson in center, Tassoni in right. Coach once again behind the plate. It's a ball, 2 strikes on Alonzo Harris. And the pitch coming. Swing and a miss. Harris strikes out to start it off here in the top of the first inning. 1 away for Willie Argo, the left fielder. Argo hitting at .321. He had 2 hits and 4 at-bats last night, including a solo home run, his 9th of the year. Has 43 RBIs on the year, right-handed hitter. Willie Argo, right-handed hitting left fielder. He's also been good on the bases, too. He's had 25 stolen bases in 26 attempts. 3 hits, 8 at-bats against the Explorers. Takes it outside from Strufing for ball 1. 330 down the lines, 385 to the power alleys. 400 to center field here at Lewis and Clark Park. 1 ball, no strikes on Argo. Hit toward right center field. Matty Johnson drifting that way and will make the catch, and that's the second out. Two out here in the top of the first inning for Vinny DeFazio, the designated hitter. Well, here's a guy that is bucking for the Triple Crown Award in the American Association. He's first in average, .378. He has 14 home runs and 72 RBIs. So he is right up there among the leaders in all 3 of those categories. Right-handed hitter, DeFazio, 6 hits, 19 at-bats against the Explorers this year and takes a strike at the letters. DeFazio was 1 for 5 last night, including a 2-run home run in the first inning in last night's game. Brian Strufing set with the 0-1 pitch, down low, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Strufing on the season, including his numbers at Lincoln while he was there, 28 2/3 innings, has given up 26 hits, 19 strikeouts, 11 walks for the left-hander. 1 ball and 1 strike. Down low and outside, and it's 2 balls, 1 strike. I was talking with Strufing earlier this week about his windup, which is really not much of a windup. It's almost like he's working out of the stretch. He just takes the ball from the waist and brings it up and throws. He also has a funny little habit before he does that, his shoulders, he'll almost like he's taking a deep breath. And the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. And it's strike two. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Vinny DeFazio. Strufing's lone win this year has been in an Explorer uniform last Saturday at Sioux Falls. A 2-1 victory over the Canaries. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Bounce foul. Back to the screen, and it stays. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Last Saturday, he had 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, gave up 3 hits. 1 run was earned. As manager Steve Montgomery said, observing Strufing when he pitched with Lincoln, it's usually the 3rd time around in the order. Swing and a miss, and the inning is over. DeFazio strikes out swinging. Strufing gets a couple of strikeouts here in the top of the 1st inning. In the first for St. Paul. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left after a half inning. It's St. Paul, nothing, and the Explorers are coming to bat on KOCJ. On the mound tonight for the St. Paul Saints will be right-hander Jeff Shields. Comes in with a record of 11 wins, 1 loss. His 15th start of the year and a .313 earned run average. Shields 6'3", 205. Right-hander from Phoenix City, Alabama. Against the Explorers this year, he's had 1 start against Sioux City, and that was on June the 23rd. He had a no decision. Went 6 innings. Here's Matty Johnson leading it off and takes a strike. Matty kind of broke out of a slump last night. He had 3 hits, 5 at bats last night. 4 for 10 in the series, a .258 hitter. Shields pitch, ground ball towards second base. To his left, second baseman Kasrowski on to first. And Johnson is the first out here in the bottom of the 1st inning. 1 out for Brent Keys, the left fielder. Keys comes in hitting at .343. Of course, Keys this is only the 20th game he has played in since joining the Explorers about 3 weeks ago. 5 hits, 9 at bats in this series. Shields was originally selected in the 7th round by the Arizona Diamondbacks back in 2010. Shields takes a strike, and first outings that he had were at Missoula, Montana in the Pioneer League. There's a ground ball chopped up the middle, shortstop to his left, fielding, throwing to first, and out at first base on a bang-bang play is Keys. Nice play by Phillips. He had to go a long ways to his left and then kind of square up a little bit and threw to first to get Keys. And there's 1 or 2 out here in the 1st inning. Brings up Rene Tassoni. Tassoni still looking for his first hit in this series. He's 0 for 8. .268 on the year with 2 home runs, 41 RBIs. Left-handed hitter. Jasoni playing right field tonight. And Shields gets the first pitch in there for a strike. 2012, Shields was promoted to Visalia of the California League. Outside for a ball. 2013, after being released by the Arizona Diamondbacks at the end of the 2012 season, which he finished up with South Bend, Indiana. Here's a ground ball chopped towards second base. Big hop. Kasrowski on the first, and the Explorers go down very quietly here in the bottom of the first inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. We have completed an inning. It's the Explorers nothing, St. Paul nothing. You're listening to Explorers Baseball on KSCJ.
Enjoy the luxury of one of our air-conditioned suites. All luxury suites include 12-game tickets with a variety of catering options, plus a dedicated server for your food and drink needs throughout the game. If it's for one night, half the season, or the entire year, luxury suites are extremely affordable. Call the Explorers office today at 277-WINS and ask for
Top of the second inning, no score here at Lewis and Clark Park. Angelo Sanko will lead it off for the Saints. St. Paul in the traveling gray tonight with the blue numerals outlined in white. The Explorers in the black jerseys tonight. The red numerals outlined in white with the white pants. Angelo Sanko, third in the league in hitting with a .351 batting average. 13 home runs, 71 RBIs for the left-handed hitter. Stroofing to the plate, swing and a miss. Sanko, 6 hits, 20 at-bats against the Explorers this season. Leading it off here in the second inning for St. Paul. Fastball, strike 2, inside corner. Sanko was 1 for 4 in last night's game. He's 2 for 8 in the series, working on a 4-game hitting streak coming into tonight's game. No balls, 2 strikes on Sanko, and it's hit toward center, and it's going to drop in there for a base hit on an 0-2 pitch. A single to center field by Sanko becomes the first base runner of the game. As I've always said, that's one of my biggest pet peeves from a pitcher's standpoint. You get a hit, 0-2, and even something that he can put his bat on. This brings up Mike Kwasnicki, the right fielder. Kwasnicki, right-handed hitter. .309 average, 10 home runs, 63 RBIs this season, deep in the box on the right side. Stroofing misses high for ball 1. Kwasnicki 4 of 17 this year against Explorers pitching. 1 for 4 in a couple of nights ago. Takes it outside, and it's 2-0. Last night, Kwasnicki had a couple of hits. He was 2 for 3 with an RBI. 3 for 7 in the series against the Explorers. Runner at first base, Sanko with a leadoff single here in the second inning. Stroofing's pitch, ground ball, foul, past third. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, the sun was out for a few minutes, but now the clouds have obscured the sun, and the lights have been turned on here at Lewis and Clark Park on this Thursday evening. Infield for the Explorers at double play depth. Kind of interesting. Neither team has turned a double play in this series. Runner at first, Sonko. One running out. The pitch is outside from Strufing. Missed away with it. And now he's fallen behind at 3 balls, 1 strike on Kwasnicki. Explorers closing out this 3-game series here tonight against St. Paul. Kansas City comes in tomorrow for a 4-game series. 3 balls, 1 strike. Hit toward right field. Tassoni on the run toward the line. Now slowing up, reaches up, makes the catch. In fair territory, and that's the first out of the inning. 1 out here in the second for Joey Pachorik. Pachorik, 267 average, 2 home runs and 20 RBIs. Pachorik went 0 for 4 last night. He did have an RBI on a fielder's choice. 4 for 14 on the season against the Explorers. Right-handed hitter doing the catching tonight for St. Paul. So Sonko still at first base with 1 out. Strufing comes to the plate. Low and inside, blocked by the catcher, Coach. Breaking pitch was down in the dirt right at the feet of Pachorik. Joey Pachorik. They play Pachorik straight away in the outfield. Sonko at first has had 1 stolen base all year. Strufing looks over there to the plate, and the fastball sailed high and outside, and it's 2-0. 2 balls and no strikes on the St. Paul catcher. St. Paul with a record of 59 wins, 17 losses on the year. And again, Winnipeg lost this afternoon, so St. Paul is the Northern Division champions. 2-0 pitch, grounded foul again past third. And it's 2 balls, 1 strike on Joey Pachorik. So St. Paul here on August the 13th, they know their fate as far as the playoffs concerned. They know they'll be there. They're the first team to make it to the playoffs. Strufing will lob a throw over to first, but Sonko almost standing on the bag. Explorers' magic number, you really want to go that high. It's right at 11 now, with Kansas City in second place, 15 back. The pitch, swing and a miss. Almost lunged at that pitch. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes on Joey Pachorik. You know, a team they always like to be able to clinch a division or a title, anything. You'd rather do that at home than you would on the road, but sometimes you don't be able to pick and choose either. 2-2 pitch. Down low, and now it's gone full at 3-2. Missed with a fastball downstairs. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 1 out here in the top of the second inning, no score. Sonko with a leadoff base hit. He's at first now with 1 out. And it's a full count on Pachorik. Let's see if Sonko's running. He is not. And the pitch is low, ball 4, and that puts runners at first and second with 1 out. First walk given up by Strufing, but St. Paul has runners at first and second with 1 out here in the second inning for Steve Nicorak. Nicorak did not play in last night's game. He played third base here in the first game of the series on Tuesday. Struck out twice and walked twice. Nicorak comes in hitting at .233. 5 home runs, 20 RBIs on the year. St. Paul leads the league in home runs. As a team, they've hit 74. So Nicorak at the plate, runners first and second. And the pitch misses inside. Breaking pitch down low and inside to Nicorak for ball 1. So St. Paul threatening here in the second inning. Runners first and second and 1 out. Strufing stops at the belt, comes to the plate. Swing and a miss. Look at a little sink on that fastball. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike on Nicorette. On deck, Anthony Phillips. Explorers infield at double play depth with 1 out. Runners first and second take their leads. Strufing stops at the belt, looks back at second, comes to the plate, swing and a miss. Foul tips at home plate umpire Lance Spielheimer. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nicorette has had 3 hits, 14 at-bats against the Explorers this season. Strufing gets ahead of him now at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nicorette 3 hits in his last 13 plate appearances. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Steve Nicorette. Strufing to the plate. A little bit high with a fastball. That evens it up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, the Explorers and St. Paul will get used to playing each other because next week the Explorers will be at CHS Field, new ballpark in downtown St. Paul, for a 3-game series. Ground ball back to Mount, fielded by, and now throwing it away is Strufing. Nice field as he almost caught that one behind his back on a field. That'll be an error charged to Strufing. Threw the ball wide at second base, trying to maybe get the double play, and the run scores. Boy, he made a nice play on it, on the ball hit up the middle, but then when he spun and threw to second to try to get Pachoik, he threw it into center field. So the error is allowed a run to score here in the second inning. And Strufing can look at no one else except himself on that one. That was a comebacker. He made a nice play on the one hopper, but when he spun and threw it, he threw it away into center field. So runners are now at first and second. Still 1 out and a run in with Anthony Phillips at the plate. Hits it in the air to right field. Sony waiting for it. Makes the catch for the out. And there's 2 out. So Phillips flies out to Sony in right field. 2 out for Dan Kazrowski, the second baseman. Kazrowski, 266 on the year with a couple of home runs, 19 RBIs. Kazrowski is 1 for 8 in the series. Had a hit last night. Went hitless last night. He went 0 for 4. 2 hits, 17 at bats on the season against Explorers pitching. Kazrowski bats with 2 out. Runners first and second. Strufing's pitch, low and inside for ball 1. Kazrowski bats in the number 9 spot in the batting order. Pachoik at second base, Nicorette at first, 2 out. Run in, 1-0 St. Paul. And the 1-0 delivery. Over but low, and it's 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes on Dan Kazrowski. St. Paul as a team, they are second in the league in hitting at .298 team batting average. The Explorers are .299 leading the league. The 2-0 delivery in the dirt, blocked out in front of the plate by Matt Coates. And now it's going 3-0 through the breaking pitch and threw it in the dirt. So it's 3 balls, no strikes on Kazrowski. One hit in the inning, but the error is allowed to run the score, in which St. Paul leading here 1-0. And it's 3-0 on Dan Kazrowski. The 3-0 pitch. High ball 4, and Kazrowski walks on 4 pitches. Second walk given up by Strufing, and that loads the bases for the top of the batting order. Alonzo Harris, and that's also going to bring pitching coach Bobby Post out of the third base dugout out to the mound.
Number 16, center fielder, Alonzo Harris.
So the top of the batting order, Alonzo Harris will be coming up with the bases loaded and 2 out. Explorers have Kansas City coming in tomorrow night, 7:05 game time. They'll be here Saturday, also at 7:05. 6:05 on Sunday, and then the 7:05 to close it out on Monday night. And that will close out the 7-game homestand for the Explorers. Explorers will then go on the road for 6 after that. St. Paul 3 and Lincoln for 3. Before coming back home on the 24th of August and close out the home season. Well, the meeting at the mound is over. Alonzo Harris coming to the plate. 2 out, bases loaded. Strufing comes to the plate, misses high and outside. That's 5 pitches in a row that he's missed out of the strike zone. 1 ball, no strikes on Alonzo Harris. Pachorik at third, Nicorak at second, Kazrowski at first, and a bouncing foul will make its way into the Explorers' third base dugout. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. A ball and a strike on Alonzo Harris. He started the game striking out. One of 2 strikeouts that Strufing has recorded so far, but now he's facing Harris with the bases loaded and 2 out. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Almost looked like he lunged that pitch was away from him. And Harris took a big cut at it, didn't get it. So now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes on Alonzo Harris. Harris, right-handed hitter. Boy, he made a couple of outstanding plays in the outfield last night in center field. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Harris strikes out for the second time. And St. Paul will leave the bases loaded here in the second inning. They get a run, 1 hit, 1 error, and they leave 3. After an inning and a half, St. Paul 1 and the Explorers nothing. You're listening to Explorers Baseball on KSCJ.
F-150 with Iowa Light.
Offering chiropractors, medical doctors, massage therapists, physical therapists, acupuncturists, and more. Not sure where to go for your pain? Enjoy having a free consultation to recommend the right treatment of choice for you. Multi-Care specializes in the treatment of pain, numbness, headaches, or stiffness throughout any area of the body. Offering multiple types of care and pick to treat your Sioux City Explorers, Multi-Care is truly leading the way for health care today. Call 276-HEAL today. Liberty National Bank is not just a voice on the phone. We're part of your community and committed to making your banking as easy as possible. We are a full-service bank of friendly, experienced professionals that serve you at locations.
Thinking it was early, I was thinking that was the
While you're there,
first out
take a
or
few
second out.
swings in our batting cage inflatable.
He said not to use your Wi-Fi up here.
Yeah, it's not working.
Yeah.
Got this thing going in and
Yeah, because we got this TV stuff early on. St. Paul leading 1-0. We're in the bottom of the second inning as the Saints got an unearned run in the top of the second. Here in the second inning for the Explorers, it'll be Brock Kelgard, Noah Perillo, and Ryan Court coming up against the right-hander Jeff Shields. Kelgard hitting at .301, 2 for 8 in the series. And the first pitch from Shields misses outside for ball 1. Kelgard tied for 5th in the American Association with 12 home runs this year. Grounds this one toward shortstop. To his right, Phillips, long throw over to first, in time for the out. Kelgard is retired to start it here in the bottom of the second inning for the Explorers. Brings up Noah Perillo on a 5-game hitting streak, left-handed hitting shortstop for the Explorers. Perillo is hitting at .323, has 4 home runs, 51 RBI, second on the ball club behind Kelgard in the RBI department. Rio 2 for 8 in this series. Right-hander Jeff Shields on the mound for St. Paul. And he misses outside, bounces out of the mid of Pachorik, the catcher. And it's 1 ball to no strikes. St. Paul has not lost a series all year. The Explorers would like to change that around tonight. Down the left field line, it's foul down toward the barbecue deck. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike on Perillo. St. Paul was in first place the first day of the season, 21st of May, and they have not been out of first place all year. They've taken it wall to wall here in the regular season. 1-1 pitch. Ground ball, third, docking it down. Nice play. Nicorak slow to first in time for the out. That was a nice play by Nicorak. He had to go to his right backhanded, knocked it down, and threw to first base to get Perillo for the second out.
Number 24, second baseman, Ryan.
2 out for Ryan Court, the second baseman for the Explorers. Court on a 5-game hitting streak. 4 hits, 8 at-bats in this series. Court has 6 home runs. He has hit 4 home runs in the last 4 games. 44 RBIs for the right-handed hitting second baseman. Batting with 2 out and nobody on here in the second inning. Shields kicks and delivers. Hit toward right center field. It's dropping. It's going to be in there for a base hit. Court with a 2-out single here in the second inning. That's the first base runner for the Explorers, the first hit for Sioux City. So Court has extended his hitting streak to 6 games.
Third baseman,
Tommy Mendoza headed to the plate. Mendoza was 2 for 4 last night. He's 3 for 9 in the series. Mendoza hitting at .322, 3 home runs, 38 RBIs, left-handed hitter. Really spreads out, crouches at the plate from the left side, and takes it down low from Shields for ball 1. So Ryan Court at first base with a 2-out single here in the second inning. St. Paul leading 1-0. The stretch by Shields and the pitch. Chopped foul at the plate. And it's a ball and a strike. Well, it looks like the sun trying to peek out again here in the early evening hours in Sioux City. Lights have been turned on earlier, though. 1 ball, 1 strike on Mendoza. Shields to the plate. Outside for a ball. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Defensively for St. Paul, Sonko at first, Gazrowski at second, Phillips at short, Nicorak at third base. Argo, Harris, Kwasnicki from left to right in the outfield. Throw to first, back is Court. And Pachorik doing the catching. There goes some birds flying over. I guess they're headed north. They should be headed south. Pitch is outside. They're mixed up. 3 balls and 1 strike. It may be summertime, but it won't be long. It'll be fall and winter up here, though, won't it? 3 balls and 1 strike on Mendoza. Court at first, off and running. Swing and a miss, throw down to second base, and safe at second base is Court with his 13th stolen base of the year. So Court steals second, and the Explorers, as a team, first in the league in stolen bases. That is the 140th stolen base of the year for the Explorers in 179 attempts. Head and shoulders above everybody in the league. Full count on Mendoza. Court at second. The pitch. Chopped foul. That will roll it toward the first base St. Paul dugout. Somebody missed up on a signal because Phillips, the shortstop, had broken over to second to cover the bag looking for a pickoff, and Shields apparently didn't get the message that he was supposed to throw to second because Mendoza was well off the bag. But Mendoza, 3-2 count, Swing and a miss, and the inning is over. Shields gets his first strikeout. That's all for the Explorers here in the second inning. No runs, one hit, no errors, and one left after two complete. St. Paul 1 and the Explorers nothing. You're listening to Explorers Baseball on KSCJ.
It's Super Tuesday at Lewis and Clark Park, where you can buy one game ticket and get one ticket free to watch your Sioux City Explorers. Buy one reserve or box seat ticket at regular price and get one ticket of equal or lesser value absolutely free to see your Explorers in action. We call it Super Tuesday. It's another reason that Explorers baseball is the most affordable game in town. Call 712-277-WINS for ticket information or see more on the website at extrasbaseball.com.
Please report to fan service.
We go to the top of the third inning. St. Paul leading 1-0. Willie Argo will lead it off with the Saints. DeFazio and Sanko will follow, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters here in the third inning against the Explorers left-hander Ryan Strufing, making his second start in an Explorer uniform. He did have one relief appearance for the Explorers before he started last Saturday at Sioux Falls. Pitched 1 inning in relief. Argo, right-handed hitter, and a changeup is high for ball 1. Argo flied to Matty Johnson in center field in the first inning. Strufing to the plate. There's a strike at the knees on the outside corner. About the time I said, well, the sun's not going to come out again. It's peeked out and reared its head up again, and the shadows out on the field, except for home plate and the pitcher's mound. 1 ball, 1 strike on Argo. Ground ball toward shortstop. Big hop for Perillo. On to first base to Kelgard, and Argo is the first out here in the third inning. One out, top of the third inning for Vinny DeFazio. Struck out swinging in the first inning. St. Paul leading 1-0 over the Explorers here in the top of the third. They picked up an unearned run in the second inning. DeFazio is the designated hitter tonight for St. Paul. He was last night also. He's also been their catcher, given a night off, at least from behind the plate. And a strike to the right-handed hitter. St. Paul, after tonight, they'll continue the road trip. Headed down south, they'll go to Joplin, Missouri to open up a series tomorrow night at Joplin. No balls at 1 strike on DeFazio. Hit in the air, left center field. It's playable for Matty Johnson. And that's the second out of the inning. Two up, 2 gone here in the top of the third inning for Angelo Sanko. He's had the only hit for St. Paul. He had a leadoff single in the second inning and then later scored on the throwing error by Strufing that allowed that run to score from third or from second base. Sanko, left-handed hitter, and takes it, I guess, a little high. Looked like it was right down the middle of the plate. Had to be high, I guess. Matt Coach held that mitt there for a while, but didn't get the call. 1 ball, no strikes. Hit towards shallow center, going back. Ryan Court, second baseman, makes the catch over the head. And the inning is over. 1-2-3 goes St. Paul here in the third inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. Our score after 2.5, St. Paul 1, the Explorers nothing. You're listening to Explorers Baseball on KSCJ.
After 2.5.
Matt Coach will lead it off for the Explorers as we go to the bottom of the third inning, the catcher for the X's. Coach hitting .298, 4 home runs, 38 RBIs. Right-handed hitter as Shields comes to the plate, hit in the air. Shallow right, everybody chasing. Anybody going to catch it? No, they will not. And here goes Coach. He's headed to second base, and he'll be in there standing with a double. The second baseman, Kazrowski, the first baseman, Sanko, the right fielder, Krasnicki, were all in hot pursuit. It just, so saying it fell in the Bermuda Triangle out there in right field. That'll be a double for Matt Coach. And for Coach, that is his 11th double of the season. So Coach at second base, leading it off with the Explorers here in the third. And Tim Caldwell, who is the designated hitter tonight, batting on the number 9 spot, will come up. Caldwell 3 for 7 in the series. Coach at second, pitch to Caldwell, fouls it back, strike one. Caldwell hitting at .262. Boy, he's seen his average bump up lately. Caldwell 4 for 18 against St. Paul this year, but over the last 5 games, Caldwell is hitting .389. Ball's 1 strike. Shows bunt, pitch gets away, but not far enough. Coach had he had made a break and then it stopped, and actually he was leaning back to second base as the pitch got away from Pachorik. So Coach still at second base. Nobody out. 1-0 St. Paul lead here in the third. A ball and a strike on Tim Caldwell. First baseman Sanko up on the grass looking for the bunt. Shields the stretch, and he punts it but fouls it right at the plate. Almost the way he bunted that time, it was almost like he was bunting for a base hit, not as a sacrifice, because he was almost running as he was trying to bunt the ball at the same time. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Tim Caldwell. Nobody out. Bottom of the third inning, St. Paul leading 1-0. Jeff Shields, the right-hander, the stretch, looks back at second. Here's the pitch. Here's a ground ball, fielded. Now they have Coach hung up. The throw is out at third base. So Coach almost got hung up, and the pitcher, Shields, fielded the ball. He threw to third to get the out on Coach. Caldwell is safe at first on the fielder's choice. It'll go 1-5 on the put out. So that's the first out. here in the third inning. And now to the top of the order, Matty Johnson. Johnson grounded out to second base in the first inning. Now Tim Caldwell at first. He has 21 stolen bases on the year, so he may be running at some point here with one out. Matty Johnson takes it in the dirt for ball one. On our out-of-town American Association scoreboard, Sioux Falls defeated Winnipeg today at Shaw Park in Winnipeg 6-4 in an afternoon game. Actually started at noon today at Winnipeg. 1 ball, no strikes on Matty Johnson. Chops it foul back to the screen. And it's a ball and a strike. Also an afternoon game in the American Association saw Gary South Shore defeat Fargo Moorhead at Fargo 8-7. Kansas City and Lincoln are scoreless at Haymarket Park in Lincoln. That game in the bottom of the fifth inning. 1 ball, 1 strike on Matty Johnson. Caldwell at first. He will attract the throw and back safely just ahead of the tag by Sonko. Good quick move there by Shields. Rockland of the Can-Am League, they shut out Joplin last night 8-0. They're leading Joplin 5-0 in the second inning tonight at Joplin. Another quick throw to first, and again Caldwell back ahead of the tag. So St. Paul is thinking the same thing, that Caldwell could be running at one point. 2.5 step lead, almost a 3-step lead at first right now. Shields to the plate, and he misses high to Matty Johnson. 2 balls and 1 strike. Grand Prairie leads Wichita 1-0 there in the fourth inning at Wichita tonight. Bottom of the first inning, Laredo Amarillo are scoreless at Laredo. 2 balls, 1 strike. Outside, ball 3. So now it's 3 balls and 1 strike on Matty Johnson. 1 out, runner at first. St. Paul leading 1-0 here at the bottom of the third inning. Final game of this 3-game series. The stretch by Shields. There goes Caldwell. Pitch is grounded, second base. Only 1 play, and that'll be at first. They get the out on Matty Johnson. Kazrowski, the second baseman, moved to his left and through the first. That was the only play he had because Caldwell was moving on the pitch. And Johnson is the second out here in the third inning. 2 out for Brent Keys. Rounded out to shortstop in the first inning. He's 0 for 1. Keys, left-handed hitter. He's playing left field tonight. Tusoni is in right field, so manager Steve Montgomery kind of moving a couple of people around defensively. Keys takes it over, but low. Fastball for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes on Brent Keys. Caldwell, good speed at second. There with 2 out. Shields looks back at second. His pitch, ground ball, by first, down the right field line. Caldwell around third. He will score. Headed towards second base. Now Keys is hung up, and they have him in a rundown, and the tag is made by the first baseman. It'll be a base hit and an RBI for Brent Keys. He made that big turn and headed towards second base and got hung up in a rundown for the final out of the inning. But the Explorers have tied it here in the third. 1 run, 2 hits in the inning. There were no errors and nobody left. Our score after 3 innings, it's the Explorers 1, St. Paul 1. You're listening to Explorers Baseball on KSCJ.
Along with ultra high definition 4K TV, Total betting, and Whirlpool high efficiency include washers and dryers. 2 locations in Sioux City for your convenience. 410 West 7th and 3154 Singing Hills Boulevard next to Walmart. Or find us on the web at af-rental.com.
When you think of Sioux City Explorers baseball, you also think of hot dogs. Each Wednesday is Wiener Wednesday at Lewis and Clark Park. That means when you buy 1 hot dog, the second one is on the house. Explorers baseball and hot dogs have been a long-time tradition here in Siouxland. Reserve your seats now for Explorers baseball in 2015 by calling the Explorers box office at 277-WIN. Wiener Wednesday, it's just another baseball tradition with your hometown Sioux City Explorers.
Number 9, right fielder Mike Vazquez.
We go to the top of the 4th inning. We are tied at 1-1. Mike Kwasnicki will lead it off for St. Paul against the Explorers left-hander Ryan Strufing. Kwasnicki, right-handed hitter, a swing and a miss, strike 1. 1 run, 3 hits, 1 error for the Explorers. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors for St. Paul through 3. Kwasnicki fly to right field in the 2nd inning. Strufing the wind and the pitch. Just off the plate outside, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Sun has come out once again. Sets on the third base side here at Lewis and Clark, and right field, the right side, at least second baseman Court, right fielder Tassoni looking into that evening sun. 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Kwasnicki. He's got the RBI single, then got hung up as he tried to go to second on that base hit to right. Chopped foul right at the plate off the bat of Kwasnicki, and it stays 1 ball and 2 strikes. Matty Johnson in center field, 3 or 4 steps toward right center or to left center field to the right-handed hitting Kwasnicki. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Strufing. The wind and the pitch. It misses inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Kwasnicki. 309 hitter. St. Paul, kind of like the Explorers, they have 5-6 guys in their lineup, in their starting lineup that's hitting 300 or better. The 2-2 pitch. Ground ball, third, but foul to the left of the bag. And it stays 2 balls, 2 strikes on Kwasnicki. Of course, St. Paul is missing one of their big boppers, and that's Ian Gack, who's been out. Kind of like Michael Lang of the Explorers, both have hamstring pulls. 2-2 pitch, low, ball 3. And now it's a full count at 3 balls and 2 strikes on Mike Kwasnicki. Full count on the right-handed hitter. Strufing's 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Up, foul tip. Just got a piece of it. Right down at the feet of the catcher, Matt Coates. Kwasnicki took a big cut at it. Went down and just got a piece of it. Kwasnicki leading it off. Pachorik and then Nicorak to bat here in the 4th inning for St. Paul. The 3-2 pitch in the dirt and a walk. A leadoff walk to Kwasnicki here in the 4th. That's the 3rd walk given up by Strufing to match the 3 strikeouts that he has. And Joey Pachorik, who walked in the 2nd inning, will come up with nobody out and a runner at first. Again, St. Paul has won the North Division of the American Association by virtue of Winnipeg losing today. Step and a throw to first. Back to the bag, Kwasnicki without a tag being made. Kwasnicki is not out a stolen base this year. It's been thrown out 1 time. Mendoza is even with the bag at third, 2nd and short, double play depth. Strufing looks over at first to the plate. Hit out of the ballpark to the right. Foul ball. Strike 1, no balls, 1 strike on Pachorik. Still a little bit of a breeze blowing from the right field line out toward left center field here on this Thursday evening in Sioux City. Very pleasant evening, though, again. No balls and a strike on Pachorik. Another throw to first, but was Nicky not going anyplace except back to bag one. No balls and a strike on the St. Paul catcher, Joey Pachorik. Stroofing the stretch, looks over at first, comes to the plate, showing bunt, and bunts it foul. May have hit him in fair territory, and I think that's what Steve Montgomery is asking. If the ball didn't hit him while the ball was alive. Of course, Lance Spillman is so short he has to get on his tippy toes just to see the shoulders of Mongo. Well, Steve got the explanation and seems to be satisfied with it. Walks back to the third base dugout. No balls, 2 strikes on Pachorik. Wisnicki at first base. Nobody out. The stretch by Stroofing. And the pitch. Hit toward first, caught. That's an easy double play. Kilgard made the catch on a little hook-back line drive right about the top of his shoes, and he was right at first base. That is the first double play turned by either team in this series. An unassisted double play by Brock Kilgard. So now there's 2 out and nobody on. 71st double play the Explorers have turned this season. Nicorak takes it outside for ball 1. Two out, nobody on. Nicorak, right-handed hitter. Low and inside, and it's 2-0. 2 balls and no strikes. That's about as easy a double play you'll see anybody ever make. Here's a foul chopped to the left side. 2 balls and 1 strike on Steve Nicorak. Actually grounded back to the pitcher in the second inning. Stroofing trying to get the double play, threw it wide into center field, and that's when the run scored. 2-1 pitch. Outside and high, and Stroofing is followed behind at 3-1. Three balls and 1 strike on Steve Nicorak. 2 out, nobody on. Stroofing comes to the plate. Outside, ball 4. 4th walk given up by Stroofing.
Number 7, shortstop, Anthony Phillips.
So that puts a runner at first with 2 out. Stroofing coming into tonight's game had 19 strikeouts, 11 walks, but he has walked 4 tonight and struck out 3. Anthony Phillips fly to right field. His only time up in the second inning. Stroofing will throw over to first, but no tag made as Nicorak back to the bag. Nicorak has had 3 stolen bases on the year in 3 attempts. Phillips, a switch hitter, batting from the right side against the lefty, Stroofing. High for ball 1. One ball and no strikes on Anthony Phillips. Runner at first, 2 out. Swing and a miss. Went down, tried to hit that pitch and swung right through it, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. It'll be interesting when we do get to the playoffs, if that happens, and the Explorers are not there yet. 11 is the magic number. Swing and a miss, strike 2. How the Explorers will arrange their pitching rotation. You know that Struck, Zimmerman, and Johnson will be the big three, and you wonder who the fourth or fifth starter if the Explorers go that way in a best 3 out of 5 series, if that occurs. I'm putting the cart before the horse, but Explorers, if they just don't completely fall apart, should be in the playoffs. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Phillips. The 1-2 pitch. Foul. That one out of play off the right side over the seats, and it stays 1 ball and 2 strikes. Of course, the South Division is the one that's really up in the air. Wichita has a 3-game lead over Joplin. Laredo is 5 back. You have Joplin, Laredo, Kansas City all vying possibly for a wild card spot. Swing and a miss! And the inning is over. Phillips strikes out. 4 strikeouts now for Scroofing. That's all for St. Paul in the 4th. A couple of walks in the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. They leave 1. After 3.5 innings, the Explorers won. St. Paul won. You're listening to Explorers Baseball on KSCJ. Tassoni will lead it off for the Explorers here in the bottom of the 4th inning against the right-hander Jeff Shields. Starts him off with a fastball on the outer part of the plate for strike 1. Tassoni grounded out to second base in the 1st inning. He's 0 for 9 in this series. Shields' pitch, breaking pitch in the dirt, and it's a ball and a strike. Tassoni, Kelgard, and Perillo to bat here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Explorers and St. Paul tied at 1-1. Hit toward left field, and coming in and making the catch about chest high is the left fielder Argo. And Tassoni is the first out. 1 out here in the 4th inning for Brock Kelgard. Kelgard grounded out to shortstop in the 2nd inning. Explorers had a couple of hits in the 3rd and scored a run to tie it at 1-1. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Kelgard, big right-handed hitter. Designated hitter tonight, or first baseman tonight, designated hitter last night. Hits this one toward right center field, coming in, and this will be in there for a base hit on a couple of hops to Harris. So Kelgard gets the 4th hit of the night for the Explorers. So Kelgard at first, and Noah Perillo coming up. Perillo grounded out to third base in the 2nd inning. So Kelgard at first with a 1-out single. Bottom of the fourth inning. Game tied at 1-1. The stretch by Shields. Here's a ground ball into right field, a base hit. Kelgard will take the turn and hold at second. He had to kind of dance out of the way of that ball that was hit right by him as he was breaking toward second base. So Carrillo's extended his hitting streak to 6 games. So the Explorers have their 5th hit of the night, have runners at first and second with 1 out for Ryan Court, who had a base hit in the 2nd inning. So Court will bat with 1 out and runners at first and second. The sun has disappeared again and clouds have moved in here in the Sioux City area. Court takes it down low for ball 1 from Jeff Shields. Shields 92 innings pitched this year, 48 strikeouts, 25 walks. Not a strikeout type pitcher. He's had 1 strikeout today. No walks. 1 ball, no strikes. Court grounds it toward shortstop. Could be 2. Out at second, back to first, double play, and the inning is over. Court hits into a 6-4-3 double play that ends the 4th inning for the Explorers. That's the first double play that St. Paul has turned in this series, their 35th they have turned on the season. After 4 innings at Lewis and Clark Park, our score, the Explorers 1, St. Paul 1. You're listening to Explorers Baseball on KSCJ.
Employees or youth sports teams, and come out to Lewis and Clark Park to watch the Explorers in action this season. To add a little extra to that group outing, we have a great lineup of food options to complement your outing, including the ever-so-popular all-you-can-eat Grand Slam picnic for only $20 per person. Discounts on tickets are available for groups of 20 or more. Reserve your group outing by calling the Explorers office at 712-277-WINS for more information. Baseball, play ball. Sioux City Explorers.
Leading off for St. Paul, number 15, second baseman, Dan Kazrowski.
Top of the 5th inning, Dan Kazrowski will lead it off for St. Paul. Then he'll go to the top of the order, Alonzo Harris and Willie Argo. Ryan Strufing back to the hill to work here in the 5th inning. Making his 2nd start in an Explorer uniform. And catches the outside corner for strike 1. Strufing was obtained from Lincoln for a player to be named later, which apparently will happen after the season is over. 23-year-old left-hander. Swinging a foul, tipped it off the end of the bat, and it's strike 2, no balls, 2 strikes. On the Major League scoreboard tonight, take a look at some of those games. There's several games played this afternoon. No balls, 2 strikes on Kazrowski. High for a ball, almost threw it away. Coach had to go up and get that pitch, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yankees leading the Indians 7-2. They're in the bottom of the 6th inning at Cleveland. 1-2 delivery. Hit in the air off the right side, but it's going to twist out of play and down toward the bleachers, down the right field line. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Dan Kazrowski. Walked in the second inning. One ball, 2 strikes on the right-handed hitter. Strufing to the plate. Ground ball toward third, backing up, and does a long throw to first in the dirt. And Kelgard cannot dig it out. That'll be an error on Mendoza on the throw. Second error committed by the Explorers tonight.
Number 16, center fielder Alonzo
Mendoza
Harris.
one-hopped it, and Kelgard couldn't dig it out of the dirt. So the Explorers have committed their second error tonight. Last night, the Explorers made 3 errors. Very unlike what the Explorers have done all season long. Now the top of the order, Alonzo Harris. Harris shows bunt, bunts it off the first base side. Kelgard will take it himself, steps on the bag, sacrifice successful. Moves Kazrowski to second base on the sacrifice bunt. First base unassisted for the first out of the inning.
Number 8, left fielder
Willie Argo coming up. Pirates are leading the Cardinals 7-3. They're in the top of the 7th inning tonight in St. Louis. Angels and the Royals are 1-1 at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City in the top of the 4th inning. There were several final scores from day games on a Thursday, usually on the travel day of Major League Baseball. Here's Argo. Takes it in the dirt for ball 1. Mets defeating the Rockies at New York today, 12-3. Blue Jays win again over the A's, 4-2 at Toronto. Rangers 6, the Twins 5 at Target Field in Minneapolis this afternoon. 1 ball, no strikes on Argo, 0-2 tonight. He is flied to center and grounded to short. Runner at second base, Kazrowski with 1 out. Strufing, the pitch. Swing and a miss. And it's a ball and a strike. Cubs defeated the Brewers today. That final is 9-2 at Wrigley Field. Reds and the Dodgers later tonight. Nationals and the Giants tonight on a slim schedule in Major League Baseball. 1 ball and 1 strike on Argo. Breaking pitch stayed high and outside. Kind of almost looked like it slipped out of the hands of Strufing on his pitch. 2 balls and 1 strike on right-handed hitting Willie Argo. One out, runner at second, Dan Kazrowski. Ryan Strufing on the hill, to the plate, in the dirt. Blocked again by Matt Coach. A breaking pitch down and in to the right-handed hitting Argo, and now it's 3 balls and 1 strike. 3 balls, 1 strike on Willie Argo. We have 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. We are tied at 1-1. Strufing checks the runner to the plate. High, ball 4, and that's the 5th walk he has given up. That puts runners at first and second with 1 out. And now the ever-dangerous Vinny DeFazio coming up. DeFazio is 0-2. Has struck out swinging, and he's flied to center field. DeFazio will bat with 1 out. Part of that 1-2 punch that St. Paul has. DeFazio's Sonko in that 3-4 spot in the batting order. Runners first and second with 1 away. Strufing checks the runners to the plate. Low and inside for ball 1.
Come on, baby. That's not down. That's not down. Looks good.
1 ball and no strikes on DeFazio. 1 out. Runners first and second take the lead. Strufing to the plate. Ground ball, third base. Stepping on the bag, Mendoza throws to first. There's the double play. Just what the doctor ordered right there. A 5-3 double play. That's the second double play the Explorers have turned here tonight. You know, if you're looking for a triple play, turn to Bob Rose Point after Westside Pizza and Bob Rose North End Zone. What a great combination. We're halfway home on a Thursday night in Sioux City. Through 4.5 innings, the Explorers won. St. Paul won. You're listening to Explorers Baseball on KSCJ.
It's a simple game. John Waller will roll the dice.
Visit Sport Clips at Lakeport Commons in Sioux City. Open every day and no appointment needed. Baseball and the great outdoors. What's a better way to spend your Friday evenings than being at Lewis and Clark Park and enjoying Explorers baseball? Each Friday it's TGIF Happy Hour with $1 domestic draft beer and Pepsi fountain soda on the bullpen barbecue deck from 6 p.m. until the first pitch. Also, Friday games through 2015 will feature Free Shirt Fridays with t-shirts of your favorite Extras players being given away throughout the game. What a great triple play. Extras Baseball, Free Shirt Fridays and TGIF Happy Hour each Friday at Lewis and Clark.
Number 25, third base, Mendoza.
Bottom of the fifth inning. Tommy Mendoza will lead it off for the Explorers. It'll be the bottom third of the batting order against Jeff Shields, who misses down low for ball one. Mendoza, Coach, and Caldwell. Here in the bottom of the fifth inning, game tied at 1-1. Mendoza struck out in the second inning. His only plate appearance. Here's a foul out of play off the third base side, and it's a ball and a strike. Matter of fact, Mendoza striking out back in the second inning is the only strikeout Shields has recorded. He hasn't walked anybody. 1 ball, 1 strike on Mendoza. Ground ball over the middle and into center field, a base hit. So Mendoza leads it off here in the fifth inning with a base hit up the middle. That is the 6th hit for the Explorers.
Number 22, hitter Matt Coach.
Matt Coach, who had a double in the third inning, will come to the plate with nobody out. See how the Explorers play this with Coach at the plate, Mendoza at first. And a tie game at 1-1. Third baseman Nicorak even with the bag. He's not really looking for the bunt right here. Shields from the stretch, the pitch. And he takes it for a strike, did not show bunt. And it's no balls, 1 strike on Matt Coach. Explorers 1, St. Paul 1. Bottom of the fifth inning, final game of this 3-game series. Hit in the air. It's playable left center field. Who's going to call for it? It's the left fielder, Argo, making the catch. And that's the first out.
Caitlin Powers and Caleb Aaron, please report to Fan Services.
1 out here in the fifth inning for Tim Caldwell.
Caitlin Powers and
Caldwell
Aaron.
mounts back to the pitcher on a fielder's choice in the third inning, in which Coach got hung up and got tagged out at third base after he had led off the inning with a double. So Mendoza still at first base with 1 out. Caldwell batting in the number 9 spot in the batting order with Matty Johnson on deck. 1 out here in the fifth inning. Mendoza at first. And the pitch, there goes Mendoza, hit toward right center field, and it's going to be caught by Kwasniewski. The throw back to first, and they get the double play. They had Mendoza running on the pitch, Caldwell flies to right, and the second double play that St. Paul has turned tonight. Neither team had turned a double play until tonight in this series, and both have turned 2 in the first 5 innings. We have completed 5 innings. The Explorers won. St. Paul won. You're listening to Explorers Baseball on KSCJ.
Program is designed by number 17, Patrick Johnson. You have just won a free treat from Long John Silver's and A&W. Report to Fan Services to claim your prize. We have great offers for blizzards and burritos for the 2015 season. Flip over your game ticket and check out the delicious offers provided by Dairy Queen and Panchero. Be sure to stop by your local store before or after the game and take advantage of these great deals. Dairy Queen, it's fan food, not fast food. And Panchero, we build better built burritos. Also, show your Ice's game tickets at Winnebago's Casino Resort every Sunday during the 2015 season for a chance to win part of $1,000 in cash. Right. Exclusive drawings for Texas fans will take place at Winnebago's at noon, 1 and 2 p.m. every Sunday. Winnebago's Casino Resort. Wouldn't you rather win?
I guess that makes up for the error he had in the first inning.
Top of the 6th inning, we are tied at 1-1. Angelo Sanko will lead it off for St. Paul. It'll be the middle third of the batting order. Sanko, Kwasnicki, and Pachorik against the left-hander, Ryan Strufing. Sanko has singled, scored St. Paul's only run. Last time up, popped up to Court at second base in shallow center. Looks at a breaking pitch from Strufing that's down low for ball 1. Tomorrow night with Kansas City in town, it will be back to school night here at Lewis and Clark Park. 1 ball, no strikes on Sanko. Hit into center field for a base hit. Boy, he zinged that one right back up the middle, and Sanko with his second hit of the game. That's the second hit for St. Paul. Sanko is both of them.
Number 9, right fielder, Mike Karthika.
And now Mike Kwasnicki walked his last time up. He's also flied to right. Back to school night tomorrow night, 7:05 game time. You can exchange new school supplies for a $9 reserve seat ticket for tomorrow night's game. Teachers and staff, you show your school ID and you receive a $7 reserve ticket. Hit toward left field, pretty well hit. Going back on it is Keys and makes the catch on the warning track. In deep left field, Kwasnicki took Keys to the warning track for the first out here in the 6th inning. 1 out, back to first, Sanko, and now Joey Pachorik coming up. Also tomorrow night, it will be Brock Kelgard t-shirt giveaway night. So make your plans to get out here tomorrow night for the first game of a series against the Kansas City T-Bones. Come in for a 4-game series. We'll be here tomorrow night through Monday. Pachorik has walked in line to first into a double play his last time up. And a step and a throw to first by Strufing, but standing back on the bag was Sanko. We're in the top of the 6th inning, tied at 1-1. Strufing looks in to get his sign from his catcher. Matt Coates looks over at first. To the plate. Change up outside for ball 1. 1 ball to no strikes. Sanko led off here in the 6th with a base hit. He's had the only 2 hits for St. Paul. Now Matt Coach out to talk with Strufing. Explorers are starting to get some activity going in the bullpen down the left field corner. Billy Bullock, right-hander, starting to warm down in the pen. 1 ball, no strikes on Paciorek. And the pitch. Hit toward left field. This ball is well hit. Back on it and looking up, Keys, and it's gone. Paciorek with his 3rd home run of the year. And it's a 3-1 lead for St. Paul. Joey Paciorek drives one out of the ballpark just to the right of the scoreboard, between the scoreboard and the message board.
Way to go, Joey! Yeah, baby, way to go!
So now it's a 3-1 lead for St. Paul. Paciorek's 3rd home run of the year. The first home run that Strufing has given up this season. And St. Paul with a 3-1 lead in the batter, Nicorak. Takes it outside for ball 1. Nicorak has grounded into a fielder's choice and walked tonight in the dirt. Bounces off to the left, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. So Billy Bullock throwing in the bullpen for the Explorers right now. Joey Paciorek's 3rd home run of the year. That is the 75th home run that St. Paul has hit this season. Swing and a miss. They take some big cuts. And it's 2 balls, 1 strike on Nicorak. The 77th game of the year for St. Paul, and they have hit 75 home runs. Fouled back, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. On the other hand, the Explorers, playing in their 76th game, have hit 40 home runs. Quite a difference. The ballpark in St. Paul, though, is home run friendly. I have to say that. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rounded foul past third and down toward the barbecue deck. So it stays 2 balls, 2 strikes on Steve Nicorak. 1 out in the inning. A 2-run home run by Paciorik has given St. Paul a 3-1 lead. Strufing's 2-2 pitch. Grounded foul, almost the same spot. Down toward the barbecue deck and ricochets out onto the playing field. And a new supply of baseballs for the home plate umpire, Lance Spielhammer. Explorers won the first game of this series Tuesday night 8-3, but St. Paul won last night 5-3. Pitch is high. Now it's going to a full count at 3-2. Again, St. Paul has not lost a series all season. They have taken a 3-1 lead here in the 6th inning. Grounded foul. Boy, he's blistering that left side down that warning track. So it's a full count at 3-2 on Nicorak. Outfield straight away on the right-handed hitter. Brian Strufing, the 23-year-old, set to the plate. Hit toward right field. Tassoni on the run. Tassoni will not get this one. It's going to one-hop the fence, and headed toward second base is Nicorak with a double. Nicorak with his 7th double of the year. Goes the opposite way with that one.
Number 7, shortstop.
That's the 4th hit for St. Paul. And still just 1 out in the inning, with Nicorak at second and Anthony Phillips coming up, and it's also bringing manager Steve Montgomery out of the third base dugout, and he is going to make that call to the bullpen before he even reaches the mound. So this is our Hard Rock Casino Hotel pitching change. We're in the 6th inning with St. Paul leading 3-1 back in 90 seconds with more Explorers baseball on KSCJ.
Pitcher number 41.
Together for one night only, August 14th and only at Get your tickets to Jerry Allen and Joe Nichols, plus more concerts at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino SiouxCity.com, open to all ages.
Some people are slaves to their routine. From home to work to home, from here to there, every day the same. And when everything's the same, there's no freedom. Almost brings a tear to your eye. Now that's proof that no routine is routine when you're riding. Stop in Rooster Harley Davidson to check out the selection of both new and used Harley Davidson motorcycles. Break out of the routine. Rooster's Harley Davidson, 1930 North Lewis Boulevard, Sioux City. Call 1-800-GO-HARLEY.
To watch the Sioux City Explorers this season, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. You can purchase single game tickets to watch the Explorers by 1, calling the Explorers office at 712-277-WIN. 2, going online to exodusbaseball.com. Or 3, you can stop by the Lewis and Clark Park box office at 3400 Line Drive in Sioux City, which is open at 9 a.m. daily, and purchase your ticket. As I said, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3 to purchase Explorers baseball tickets to watch professional baseball in Sioux City.
New pitcher for the Explorers is going to be right-hander Billy Bullock, appearing in his 27th game in relief. 2 wins, no losses, a .281 earned run average. Bullock on the season, 32 innings pitched, 32 strikeouts, 16 walks. This is his second appearance in this series. Pitched in the first game of the series Tuesday night, worked an inning, gave up 1 hit, no runs, walked 1, and struck out 1. So Ryan Strufing, 5 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, responsible for the runner at second, walked 5 and struck out 4. So Anthony Phillips will now turn around and bat from the left side against the right-handed offerings of Billy Bullock. Phillips has flied to right, struck out tonight. Takes it up high from Bullock for ball 1. St. Paul with 2 runs here in the top of the 6th inning, and they have now taken a 3-1 lead over the Explorers. Nicorak is at second base with 1 out. Bullock to the plate. Misses outside, and it's 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes. Matty Johnson in center, playing Phillips as an opposite field hitter, a little bit toward left center field. Bullock's 2-0 pitch, taken for a strike at the letters, and it's 2-1. Phillips batting in the number 8 spot in the batting order. So Nicorak's double has sent Ryan Strufing out of the game here in the 6th inning. 2 balls and a strike on Phillips. The 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss. That evens it up at 2-2. Explorers will open up a 4-game series with second place Kansas City here tomorrow night. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Phillips. Bullock checking the runner at second, 2-2 pitch. Low, bounces into the dirt, headed toward third base, and making it on a wild pitch will be Nicorak. So Bullock with a wild pitch. Puts a runner at third with 1 out, and the Explorers will probably bring their infield in somewhat. Not quite all the way to the grass, but a little more than halfway. It's a full count on Phillips. Now time has been called just as Bullock had gone to the stretch. Phillips switch hitting shortstop for St. Paul. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Phillips. The 3-2 pitch, fouled straight back to the screen, to the backstop, and it stays a full count at 3 balls and 2 strikes. St. Paul has put up 2 runs here in the 6th inning on a 2-run home run by Joey Pachori. That has given St. Paul the 3-1 lead over the Explorers. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Phillips got tied up. He did not have his arms extended all as he strikes out for the 2nd time. And that's the 2nd out of the inning.
Number 15, second baseman,
So now with a runner at third and 2 outs, your infield goes back to its normal depth. With right-handed hitting, Dan Kasrowski has walked and has been safe on an error tonight. So he's 0 for 1 officially. Kasrowski takes a breaking pitch in the dirt. Coach couldn't find it at first, had to take the mask off, and it was almost right at his feet. 1 ball and no strikes. Matt Coach walks out toward the mound to have a little bit of a meeting here with Billy Bullock. He may have got crossed up a little bit just the way he reacted when he caught that ball or knocked it down. Didn't really catch it, but he did keep it from getting by him. It's 1 ball to no strikes on Dan Kasrowski. Nicorak is at third base with 2 out here in the top of the 6th inning. St. Paul leading 3-1. Bullock from the stretch. The 1-0 pitch. Curveball taken for a strike. Good breaking pitch by Bullock. Evens it up with a ball and a strike. Well, St. Paul found out earlier today, even before they came to the ballpark, that Winnipeg had lost at Winnipeg this afternoon, which with that loss gives St. Paul the Northern Division title. 1-1 pitch. High with a fastball. And it's 2-1. Two balls and 1 strike on Dan Kasrowski. Runner at third. Nicorak, 2 out. 2-1 pitch. Hit toward right field. Tosoni drifting back now, comes in 2-3 steps, makes the catch, and the inning is over. St. Paul scores 2 runs in the inning. They do it with 3 hits. There were no errors in the inning, and they strand 1 through 5.5 innings. It's St. Paul 3 and the Explorers 1. You're listening to Explorers Baseball on KSCJ.
Stands to direct your attention.
In front of the X's dugout where it's
brings you the Grand Slam Slot Tournament with over $350,000 in cash and prizes given away for free. Every Tuesday and Thursday evening, someone will win $1,000 in cash every half hour from 6 to 10 p.m. by playing slots for free. Plus, a $1,000 cash drawing at the end of each night. The top 16 winners from each night will advance to the Grand Slam Championship on July 30th to win a share of over $33,000, including a $10,000 cash grand prize. Register today and every day, but make sure you're at Winnebagus every Tuesday and Thursday in June and July to have a free chance to play in the Grand Slam Slot Tournament. Why go anywhere else when you can play for a share of $350,000 for free at Winnebagus Casino Resort? Wouldn't you rather win? I-29 to exit 127, Sloan, Iowa. Sundays in Lewis and Clark Park is Family Day and Little League and Softball Night. Our Family Fun Day special is 1 reserve seat ticket, 1 hot dog, and 1 Pepsi Mountain drink for only $12 per family member. Added to that is this bonus. Youngsters, wear your Little League or softball jersey and receive a free reserve ticket. Family Value Day and Little League Softball Night, all combined in one. Each Sunday night at Lewis and Clark Park to watch your Sioux City Explorers. Call 277-WINS for tickets. Baseball, play ball.
It'll be the top of the batting order for the Explorers here in the 6th inning. Matty Johnson will lead it off. Brent Keys, Renee Tusoni to follow against the right-hander Jeff Shields. Matty Johnson 0 for 2 tonight. Shows bunt and takes a fastball for a strike. Johnson 0 for 2 with a couple of ground balls to second base. The 0-1 pitch from Shields. Taken for strike 2. Off-speed pitch. Just above the knees on the outside corner. Shields gets ahead of Matty Johnson at no balls, 2 strikes. And the 0-2 delivery. Spins him off the plate with a fastball in tight. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. 3-1 lead for St. Paul over the Explorers here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Final game of this 3-game series. inside and low with a breaking pitch, and it evens it up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Explorers have had 6 hits tonight. St. Paul has had 4, but Saints have a 3-1 lead here in the 6th inning. Chopped off the first base side, but it's going to roll foul. So it stays even at 2 balls, 2 strikes on Matty Johnson. Explorers are 56-19 on the year. Here at home, the Explorers 26-11 against teams out of the North Division, 20-8. First place in the Central Division right now, the Explorers are, with a 15-game lead over second place Kansas City. 2-2 pitch. Started to swing, and they'll appeal now, but third base umpire Sean Hicks said no, didn't go. So it's a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes on Matty Johnson. Shields 3-2 pitch. Ground ball into left field for a base hit between the third base and the shortstop. So Matty Johnson leads it off with a base hit here in the 6th inning. The 7th hit for the Explorers. That's the 3rd inning tonight that the Explorers have had the leadoff batter on base. Brent Keys has had an RBI single tonight. Well, bat with nobody out and Johnson at first. The pitch. Keys fouls it straight back. Had a big cut at that first pitch and fouled it straight back to the screen. Matty Johnson at first with the leadoff single. 27 stolen bases this year for Matty in 40 attempts. Shields the stretch. Here's a ground ball, second base to his right, then Kowalski back to first, and they get the double play. My, oh my. That is the 3rd double play the Explorers have hit into tonight. It'll go 4-6-3 on the double play.
Number 9.
So now there's 2 out and nobody on base. Well, neither team had turned a double play in the first 2 games of this series, and they're making up for it tonight. 3 turned by St. Paul. That gives him 37 on the year. So now there's 2 out and a foul tip off the bat of Tassoni, and it's strike 1. 2 out with nobody on. Tassoni is grounded out, lined out, 0 for 2 tonight. He is 0 for 10 in the series. So Tassoni batting with 2 out and nobody on base. Tassoni has had 5 hits in his last 21 at-bats. 8 for 40 in his last 10 games. No balls and 1 strike on Rene Tassoni. Shields, the pitch. Takes it high and outside. Fastball for a ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Explorers have had 7 hits tonight, but have hit into 3 double plays. Change up outside, and it's 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike on Rene Tassoni. Batting with 2 out and nobody on here in the bottom of the 6th inning, with St. Paul leading 3-1. Strike at the knees, and it's 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes on Tassoni. 2-2 pitch. Outside, and now it's going full at 3-2. On deck, Brock Kelgard. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Shields pitch. Swing and a miss. Tassoni strikes out. Shields gets his 2nd strikeout, and that's all for the Explorers here in the 6th. No runs, a hit, no errors, and nobody left after 6 complete. It's St. Paul 3 and the Explorers 1. You're listening to Explorers Baseball on KSCJ.
I came as fast as I could, but it took over 30 minutes, so it's free.
Really? You guys still do that deal? But the pizza shop is only 3 blocks away. What took so long?
Let me tell you, it was insane. First, I got stuck behind a guy who was seriously going 5 miles per hour.
Come on, man!
Then I got stopped by some workers jackhammering a crosswalk.
You gotta be kidding.
Then my car got attacked by a guy in a gorilla suit.
Pretty crazy. Thanks for the pizza. Gentlemen, you nailed it. Tonight, I toast my delicious Pepsi Max to you. Dan, good work on the slow crew. Matt and Blake, nice jackhammering. Guys, was the gorilla suit overdoing it? No.
Pepsi Max, maximum taste, nothing else. Genius.
Are you looking for a way to impress your clients, family, and friends? Then attend an Explorers baseball game in style and comfort at Lewis and Clark Park. Enjoy the luxury of one of our air-conditioned suites. All luxury suites include 12-game tickets with a variety of catering options, plus a dedicated server for your food and drink needs throughout the game. If it's for one night, half the season, or the entire year, luxury suites are extremely affordable. Call the Explorers office today at 277-WINS and ask for luxury suite information. Baseball, play ball.
This is Sioux City Explorers Baseball on AM 1360, FM 94.9 KSTJ.
Our totals through 6 innings. St. Paul, 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors. And the Explorers tonight, 1 run, 7 hits, and the Explorers have committed a couple of errors. We go to the 7th, top of the batting order, Alonzo Harris will lead it off for St. Paul. Harris, Argo, and DeFazio against Billy Bullock. Came in the 6th inning and got the final 2 outs in relief of starter Ryan Struffing, who threw 99 pitches in 5 1/3 innings. Foul ball into the Explorers' third base dugout off the bat of Harris. Harris is 0 for 2 tonight, a couple of strikeouts. Last time up had a sacrifice bunt. Leads it off here in the top of the 7th inning. Bullock with the 0-1 pitch. Did he go or not? Pitch was down low, no appeal may apparently. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 ball, 1 strike on Harris. Bullock to the plate. Ground ball toward third, but it'll go foul. Fielded by Mendoza in foul territory. Sioux Falls beat Winnipeg today 6-4. Gary South Shore over Fargo Moorhead 8-7. Earlier games today. Kansas City is leading Lincoln 1-0 in the bottom of the 9th inning at Lincoln. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Harris. High for a ball, and it's 2-2. Rockland 8, Joplin 1. They play in the bottom of the 6th inning at Joplin. Grand Prairie and Wichita are tied at 1-1 in the 7th at Wichita. Strike 3 call on a breaking pitch. Harris has struck out for the 3rd time tonight. 2nd strikeout for Bullock.
Number 8.
1 out here in the top of the 7th inning for Willie Argo. Has walked, he's 0 for 2, has grounded to short and flied to center. And the other game around the league, Laredo is leading Amarillo 6-1 in the 5th inning at Laredo. Argo, right-handed hitter. Buzz with a fastball, spinning him out of the batter's box. Up and in for ball 1. St. Paul scored a couple of runs in the 6th inning and broke a 1-1 tie. They lead it 3-1 here in the 7th. Bullock's 1-0 pitch, inside again, and it's 2-0. So again, Kansas City has a 1-0 lead over Lincoln, and Lincoln bats in the bottom of the 9th inning at Lincoln. 2-0 pitch, grounded foul off the third base side, down toward the Explorers bullpen. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Explorers have had 7 hits tonight, but have hit into 3 double plays. 2 balls and a strike. Bullock works from the stretch. Here's the pitch. It's low with a breaking pitch, and now it's gone to 3-1. Brian Strufing started the night for the Explorers. He went 5 1/3 innings. 4 hits, 3 runs. Walked 5, struck out 4. Also was charged with a wild pitch. Did that hit the bat or the helmet? Apparently it hit the bat or hit the helmet. And down to first base will go Argo, being hit by a pitch. It hit something. We could tell that. You could hear it up here. No argument on anybody's part. So Argo, being hit by a pitch, is down at first base with 1 out. This will bring up Vinny DeFazio. He's 0 for 3 tonight. He last time up hit into a double play. He's also flied to center and struck out. Right-handed hitter. Bullock's pitch. Curveball in for a strike. Nice breaking pitch there by Bullock. Mendoza guarding the line at third. Opens up a hole between third and short. Explorers up the middle, a double play depth. In the dirt, walked out in front of the plate by Matt Coach, and it's a ball and a strike. Argo at first base. He is also a suspect to run. He has had 25 stolen bases, 26 attempts on the season. He's at first with 1 out. 3-1, St. Paul leading here in the 7th. 1 ball and 1 strike on DeFazio. Bullock ready to the plate. Inside with a fastball. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Outfield straight away on DeFazio. Bullock's pitch. Line down the right field side, but foul down toward the St. Paul bullpen. And it evens it up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tomorrow night, 7:05 game time, as the Explorers will play host to the Kansas City T-Bones here tomorrow evening at Lewis and Clark Park. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Throw to first. Back scrambling to the bag goes Argo without a tag. Two balls, 2 strikes on DeFazio. Still a little bit of a breeze blowing out toward left field. Throw to first, and back safely goes Argo on the throw by Bullock. Bullock appearing in his 27th game of the year in relief for the Explorers. Two balls and 2 strikes on DeFazio. Argo takes about a 2.5 step, almost 3-step lead. There he goes. Pitch is taken low. The throw down to second base. Out at second. Ryan Court picking that one out of the dirt and tagging out Argo is caught stealing for only the 2nd time this season in 27 attempts. So 2 out here in the 7th. And now it's a full count on DeFazio. Nice play by Court to dig it out of the dirt and make the tag at the same motion. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. DeFazio strikes out. And the inning is over. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Bullock, his 3rd of the game. And here in the top of the 7th inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. Time now for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Interstate Batteries. They're outrageously dependable. We head to the bottom of the 7th. St. Paul leading 3-1 over the Explorers on KSCJ.
All right, fans.
You can find those long-lasting batteries at over 100,000 locations across the nation. Yet, we recycle even more batteries than we sell. Why? Because we don't just want to get you going. We want to make sure where you're going remains worth getting to. Interstate Bank, the nation's #1 car battery recycler.
Hi, I'm Matt Van Scherzen with another little-known legend of sports. Longtime Cowboys fans may remember defensive back Cornell Green, but the story of how he made it to the NFL is not widely known. In the summer of 1962, Green was signed to a free agent contract by Cowboys owner Clint Murchison, who hoped the two-time All-American from Utah State could fill Dallas's need for a reliable cornerback. What made the signing unusual was that Green had been a standout basketball player at Utah State and had never played any college football. But Dallas took a chance and offered Green more money than the NBA's Chicago Zephyrs, who had made Green their first-round draft pick in 1962. Well, the signing proved to be one of the greatest coups in NFL history, as Green quickly developed into one of the league's finest defensive backs. He played 13 seasons for Dallas and made it to the Pro Bowl 5 times. Long before guys like Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders made headlines as two-sport athletes, Cornell Green was paving the way, earning his status among the little-known legends of sports. I'm Matt Vasquez.
It's a magnificent Monday at Lewis and Clark Park with the Explorers.
Kelgard leading it off here in the 7th inning, taking a pitch down low, and it's 2 balls, 1 strike on Kelgard, who's had a base hit and 2 at-bats. Jeff Shields on the hill, and a foul off to the right out of the ballpark, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes through 6 innings. Shields had thrown only 61 pitches tonight as he works here in the 7th with a 3-1 lead. Kelgard, Perillo, and Court here in the 7th. The 2-2 pitch, line drive right at the first baseman, Sonko, and there's 1 out. Kelgard hit it on the nose, but right at the first baseman. 1 out here in the 7th inning for Noah Perillo.
Number 5, Noah Perillo.
Perillo is singled in 2 at-bats, left-handed hitting shortstop. Explorers have had 7 hits tonight, but Explorers have also hit into 3 double plays here tonight against St. Paul. Perillo takes it outside for ball 1. 1 ball to no strikes. Back to school night tomorrow night on a Friday night here at Lewis and Clark Park with the Explorers against Kansas City. There's a strike at the knees on the outside corner, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike on Noah Perillo. Jeff Shields has not had a complete game this year. Here's a ground ball, third base. To his left, Nicorak on to first, and there's 2 out here in the 7th. Two out in the 7th inning for Ryan Court, who has had a base hit and 2 at-bats. Matter of fact, Shields, the longest he has pitched in any one game was on July the 25th when he went 8 innings against Lincoln. And the pitch is off the mid of the catcher, Pachorik. Rolls behind the plate, nobody on base, no harm, and it's 1 ball, no strikes. 6-7 innings has been basically the longest that Shields has pitched in any one game as a starter, making his 15th start of the year, but with a record of 11-1. The 1-0 pitch coming, and it's in there for a strike. Breaking pitch. St. Paul has 3 pitchers in double-digit wins. Crenshaw with 12, Sneed with 12, Shields with 11. In tight for a ball, and it's 2-1. Their top 3 starters have a total of 35 wins, 35 of their 59. 2 balls and a strike on Court. Swing and a miss. Goes down to a back knee as he swung at that pitch. And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes on Ryan Court. 2 out, nobody on for the Explorers. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. St. Paul with the lead, 3-1 over the Explorers tonight. Here's a ground ball to shortstop. To his left fielding, Phillips on to first, and that's all for the Explorers in the 7th, up and down in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. We have completed 7. St. Paul 3, the Explorers 1. You're listening to Explorers Baseball on KSCJ.
Winnebagus brings you the Grand Slam Slot Tournament with over $350,000 in cash and prizes given away for free. Every Tuesday and Thursday evening, someone will win $1,000 in cash every half hour from 6 to 10 p.m. by playing slots for free. Plus, a $1,000 cash drawing at the end of each night. The top 16 winners from each night will advance to the Grand Slam Championship on July 30th to win a share of over $33,000, including a $10,000 cash grand prize. Register today and every day, but make sure you're at Winnebagus every Tuesday and Thursday in June and July to have a free chance to play in the Grand Slam Slot Tournament. Why go anywhere else when you can play for a share of $350,000 for free at Winnebagus Casino Resort? Wouldn't you rather win? I-29 to exit 127, Sloan, Iowa.
It's Super Tuesday at Lewis and Clark Park, where you can buy 1 game ticket and get 1 ticket free to watch your Sioux City Explorers. Buy 1 reserve or box seat ticket at regular price and get 1 ticket of equal or lesser value absolutely free to see your Explorers in action. We call it Super Tuesday. It's another reason that Explorers baseball is the most affordable game in town. Call 712-277-WINS for ticket information or see more on the website at exodusbaseball.com.
Baseball, play ball. This is Sioux City Explorers.
New pitcher for the Explorers here in the 8th inning is going to be right-hander Jimmer Kennedy. And Kennedy will be appearing in his 28th game, all in relief. 1 win, no losses, 2 saves, a .329 earned run average, 41 innings, 41 strikeouts, 12 walks for Jimmer Kennedy. So Billy Bullock goes an inning and 2/3, no hits, no runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. He hit a batter. So Jimmer Kennedy comes on to pitch here in the 8th inning. This is his second appearance against St. Paul in this series. Pitched here on Tuesday night, pitched an inning, 1 hit, no runs, walked 1, didn't strike out anybody. So Jimmer Kennedy, 3rd pitcher the Explorers have used, comes on to work here in the top of the 8th inning. Angelo Sanko will lead it off, left-handed hitter. He's had half of St. Paul's hits tonight. He is 2 for 3. As Kennedy set to work, and a strike with the left-handed hitting Sanko. Sanko, Wisnicki, and Pachorik here in the top of the 8th inning with St. Paul leading 3-1. Kennedy ready to the plate. Did he go? Yes, he did. Tried to check his swing, but that was not too much of a question. No appeal had to be made there. And it's no balls, 2 strikes. If his bat didn't go through the strike zone, his body did. Tried to check it. No balls, 2 strikes here on Sanko. Kennedy to the plate, in the dirt with a breaking pitch. The Explorers will have the shift on with Sanko at the plate, left-handed hitter. Only Tommy Mendoza, the 3rd baseman, is on the left side of the infield. It's like he's playing shortstop. Carrillo, the shortstop, is on the first base side of second, right at the edge of the grass, and Court at second base in that first base, second base hole at the edge of the grass. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Sanko. Swing and a miss. Sanko strikes out. That's 8 strikeouts tonight for Explorers pitchers. One out here in the 8th inning for Mike Kwasnicki 0 for 2 with a walk. He's flied to right, flied to left. So Kwasnicki, left-handed hitter, will face Jimmer Kennedy. Kwasnicki also a switch hitter. Kennedy works from the stretch. Swing and a miss, strike one. Like most relief pitchers will work out of the stretch even though nobody's on base. 3-1, St. Paul leading here in the top of the 8th inning. No balls and 1 strike on Kwasnicki. Kennedy's pitch in the dirt, bounces away up the first base side, and it's a ball and a strike. Checking to see if we had any updates around the league tonight and scores. Yep, Kansas City shut out Lincoln tonight, 1-0 at Lincoln. The 1-1 pitch. In there for a strike. Nice breaking pitch by Jimmer Kennedy. So Kansas City winning tonight, 1-0 at Lincoln. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Kwasnicki. Kennedy comes to the plate. Swing and a miss, pitch into the dirt. Coach will make the tag, and the out is recorded. Actually, he didn't tag him, but he had already gone away from the batter's box anyway. He'd already headed to the first base dugout. So Kennedy has struck out the first 2 batters that he has faced here in the 8th. The Explorers pitchers tonight have 9 strikeouts. St. Paul has had just 4 hits, but they had the big one, the 2-run home run by Joey Pachorik in the 6th inning, and that's the difference in the game. A 3-1 lead for St. Paul, and the batter is Joey Pachorik. Walked and has had the 2-run home run. He's also hit into a double play tonight. Takes the pitch for a strike. No balls, 1 strike on Pachorik. A little more of a breeze is picked up of late. The flag's out in center field. Strike 2. Kennedy coming out of the bullpen throwing strikes. And he gets ahead of Pachorik at no balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs, nobody on base here in the 8th inning. St. Paul with a lead of 3-1. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Grounded foul past third, down toward the Explorers bullpen. So it stays, no balls, 2 strikes. The ball caroms on out into the playing field where the left fielder Brent Keys will pick it up. St. Paul will, after this game, they will head down to Joplin, Missouri, where they'll open up a series tomorrow night at Joplin. Kennedy with the 0-2 delivery. Swing and a miss in the dirt again. The tag is made and Kennedy strikes out the side here in the 8th inning. 1, 2, 3 go the St. Paul Saints in the 8th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's St. Paul 3, the Explorers 1. You're listening to Explorers Baseball on KSCJ.
30 days. Visit IALottery.com.
Medical doctors, massage therapists, physical therapists, acupuncturists, and more. Not sure where to go for your pain? Enjoy having a free consultation to recommend the right treatment of choice for you. Multi-Care specializes in the treatment of pain, numbness, headaches, or stiffness throughout any area of the body. Offering multiple types of care and pick to treat your Sioux City Explorers, Multi-Care is truly leading the way for health care today. Call 276-HEAL today.
Get ready for Battery Park Summer Concert Series, where Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Sioux City welcomes Ario Speedwagon July 14th. Elvis Costello July 24th. Circle with Black Oak, Arkansas, August 7th, and more. The Star Series. Get your tickets to the hottest summer concerts at HardRockCasinoSiouxCity.com.
Want to make your child's next birthday party the best one ever? Come celebrate your birthday party at the ballpark. You'll receive 10 hot dogs, 10 16-ounce Pepsi soft drinks, 10 Sioux City Explorer logo baseball, a visit from Slider, the team mascot, and also receive an Explorers team autographed baseball for the youngster and a welcome over the PA system. Plus, 2 complimentary game tickets will be provided for adult chaperones. Call the Explorers office today, 712-277-WINS, and book your next party at the park.
Rest of the regular season. For more information, call the Exeter Sales Department, 277-WINS. That's
Bottom of the 8th inning, it'll be the bottom third of the batting order for the Explorers. Tommy Mendoza, Matt Coach, Tim Caldwell, Jeff Shields has only struck out 2, but he hasn't walked anybody. He's given up 7 hits, but he has enticed the Explorers hitters to hit into 3 double plays tonight. Mendoza's had a single in 2 at-bats. He's also struck out. Leads it off here in the bottom of the 8th. Hits one up the middle, into center field, a base hit. Mendoza with his second hit, second time tonight. He's led off with a base hit. That is the 8th hit for the Explorers.
number 22, catcher, Matt Coach.
And Coach has doubled in 2 at-bats. St. Paul getting a left-hander starting to throw down in their bullpen right now. Coach doubled in the 3rd and is flied to left. Looking down at Steve Montgomery at third base, going through a lot of signs. Tonight's attendance, 1,437 here tonight at Lewis and Clark Park for the final game of this series. The stretch, the pitch, and Coach taking it for strike 1. No balls, 1 strike. Last time Mendoza led off with a single. He was off and running on a pitch, and Tim Caldwell flied to right field and ended up being a double play. No balls, 1 strike on Coach. Hits it in the air down the right field line, and it's going to twist out a play down toward the St. Paul bullpen. So Shields gets ahead of Coach, and no balls, 2 strikes. I think our official score, Jamie Miller, told me that I think Shields has only gone to a 3-ball count twice tonight, 3 times tonight. It's pretty efficient pitching. He's ahead of the count, 0-2 on Matt Coach. The stretch by Shields, chopped foul off third, and it stays, no balls and 2 strikes. No balls, 2 strikes on Matt Coach. Tim Caldwell on deck. Mendoza with a leadoff single here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Explorers trailing at 3-1. Shields stops right at the letters, down the stretch, the pitch. Outside, came back with a breaking pitch, but missed outside with it. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mendoza a short lead at first. 2 steps and maybe at the most. Here's a ball hit to left field. Back on it goes Argo. Still going back. It is off the fence. That'll be a double by Coach. Boy, I thought that one had a chance to get out of here too. Argo went back. The ball caromed off the fence. A double for Matt Coach, his 2nd double of the night. Mendoza stopped at 3rd. So the Explorers trying to get something going here at the bottom of the 8th inning. Tim Caldwell coming up. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Caldwell has flied to right, ended up being a double play. He was on by a fielder's choice in the 3rd and has scored the Explorers' only run. St. Paul will bring their first baseman, third baseman up. Caldwell always a threat to bunt. The pitch by Shields. In tight for ball one. 1 ball to no strikes. St. Paul leading 3-1. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Explorers have the tying runs in scoring position with nobody out here in the 8th. Shields ready. Hit toward left center field. This one's going to catch the gap. This will tie the game. Caldwell is headed towards second base. He is going to try for 3. Here comes the throw, the slide. He is safe. The ball gets away, but bounces right back to the third baseman. A triple for Tim Caldwell to tie it. The second triple of the year for Caldwell. That ball was hit in the gap, and Caldwell, when he hit second base, he wasn't even thinking about stopping there. A triple and 2 RBIs that have tied the game at 3-3. Here in the 8th inning, and now the top of the batting order, Matty Johnson up. The stretch by Shields, the pitch, and he bunts it right up to the pitcher. He'll throw to first base with the second baseman covering. I don't know if Caldwell didn't get the sign. It looked like maybe a safety squeeze, and Caldwell was not. He came off the bag, but I guess it was bunted so hard. It was just bunted too hard by Matty Johnson. It'll go 1-4 on the putout. That's the first out of the inning, and that's going to be all for Jeff Shields. So this is our Hard Rock Casino Hotel pitching change. We're in the 8th inning. We are tied at 3-3. Back in 90 seconds with more Explorers baseball on KSCJ.
When you think of Sioux City Explorers baseball, you also think of hot dogs. Each Wednesday is Wiener Wednesday at Lewis and Clark Park. That means when you buy 1 hot dog, the second one is on the house. Explorers baseball and hot dogs have been a long-time tradition here in Siouxland. Reserve your seats now for Explorers baseball in 2015 by calling the Explorers box office at 277-WIN. Wiener Wednesday, it's just another baseball tradition with your hometown Sioux City Explorers.
Well, the new pitcher for St. Paul is going to be Alex Sogard. Will come on to work here in the 8th inning. Sogard appearing in his 30th game of the year. Has 1 save, no wins, no losses, 17 in the 3rd innings, 15 strikeouts, 6 walks. So Alex Sogard, 6'4", 215-pound left-hander out of Hickory, North Carolina, will come on to pitch. The infield drawn in, Brent Keys at the plate. 1 out, game tied, 3-3 here in the 8th. And the pitch from Sogard, bends over for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. On Brent Keys, who's had a RBI single in 3 at-bats tonight. Sogard's delivery. Misses off the plate. Another breaking pitch. And it's a ball and a strike. Tim Caldwell with a 2-run triple has tied it here in the bottom of the 8th inning at 3-3. Caldwell at third. Sogard, the stretch, the pitch. Low and away, and it's 2-1. 2 balls and 1 strike on Brent Keys. Shields went 7 in the 3rd innings, 10 hits, 3 runs, responsible for the runner at third. No walks, 2 strikeouts. 2 balls, 1 strike. Hit line to center field for a base hit. Keys will take the turn. He's trying for second. The throw. He is in there with a double. And the Explorers lead it 4-3. Oh, you gotta love that. Keys gets his second RBI of the night. And the Explorers have scored 3 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. That run will be charged to Shields. So the book closed on him, and now Rene Tassoni at the plate. And he takes the first pitch for a strike. Tassoni is 0 for 3 tonight. He's 0 for 11 in this series. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Explorers have taken the lead. He started to swing at a breaking pitch. Checked it in time. It was down and away. And it's a ball and a strike. Tassoni has grounded out, lined out, and struck out in his 3 at-bats. Lefty against lefty here. Keys is at second base with 1 out. Sogard from the stretch, the pitch. And it's lined right at the third baseman, Nicorek. And there's 2 out. That's 2 times tonight that Tassoni is lined out. Once to left fielder, now to the third baseman. Well, sometimes you hit the ball hard, nothing to show for it. Sometimes you just bloop one and you get a hit. It's part of baseball. They're going to walk Kelgard. So Kelgard will be intentionally walked here so they can pitch to the left-handed Perillo. This will be the first walk of the night given up by a St. Paul pitcher. And this will be an intentional walk. Kelgard, a right-handed hitter, so they almost threw that one on the plate. Ball 2 outside. There's ball 3. So St. Paul will elect to pitch to the left-handed hitting Noah Perillo with 2 outs. And pitches down low and outside, ball 4. There's the intentional walk. That puts Kelgard at first. Keys is down at second. And Noah Perillo has had 1 hit, 3 at-bats tonight. Lefty against lefty here. What a big hit, though, by Keys. Against the left-hander, he did it. Perillo has grounded out the third twice. He has also singled tonight. Has extended his hitting streak to 6 games. First and second with 2 out here in the 8th. Ground ball, first base. Fielding it, Sonko will go to the bag. He almost fielded that ball in self-defense. That ball popped right up into his face for the final out of the inning. The Explorers here in the 8th. 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors, 2 left. We head to the 9th. Got a holder now. After 8, it's the Explorers 4, St. Paul 3. You're listening to Explorers Baseball on KSCJ.
9-3.
It's CopyStar and Executive Technology. Call them at 1-800-272-8218. That's 1-800-272-8218.
If you need appliances, furniture, or electronics for your home, Appliance and Furniture Rental should be your one and only stop. They have an 8-piece living room package for one low price of $29.99 per week. They now carry catnapper furniture along with ultra-high-definition 4K TVs, Serta bedding, and Whirlpool high-efficiency washers and dryers. 2 locations in Sioux City for your convenience. 410 West 7th and 3154 Singing Hills Boulevard next to Walmart. Or find us on the web at af-rental.com.
The tradition just got better on Thursdays at Lewis and Clark Park. Not only is it Thirsty Thursday, but it's also college night. Buy any size beer or any size Pepsi fountain soda and get one free of equal or lesser value. Also, college students, show us your student ID and receive a $5 reserve ticket. Thirsty Thursday and college night every Thursday throughout the 2015 season at Lewis and Clark Park. For ticket information, call 277-WINS.
Well, the Explorers will bring in their closer, Jose Flores, to pitch here in the ninth. Appearing in his 30th game, he has 18 saves on the year. He's pitched last night, pitched an inning, and struck out the side. He'll be facing the bottom third of the batting order. Steve Nikorek will lead it off here in the top of the ninth inning for St. Paul. Flores ready, and the first pitch is fouled straight back up into the seats, and it's strike one. Nikorek has doubled, walked, and grounded into a fielder's choice. He is 1 for 2. Flores, 28 in the third innings, 27 strikeouts, 9 walks for the right-hander, Jose Flores. Down low and outside, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Flores second in the league in saves with 18. The leader is in the other bullpen, Brian Rodeball, who picked up his 20th last night for St. Paul, the save column. Foul back. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Steve Nikorek. Phillips and Kazrowski to follow. We're in the top of the ninth inning. The Explorers have the lead 4-3, scoring 3 in the bottom of the 8th inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch. Swing! That is 11 strikeouts. 5 strikeouts in a row by Explorers pitchers. Jimmer Kennedy struck out the 3 batters that he faced in the 8th, and now it is Phillips, switch hitter. Bounces one toward third. Mendoza up with it, on to first. 2 out in the ninth. I know there's still a lot of baseball to go this season in the month of August, but I'll tell you, if these two teams happen to play each other in the playoffs, it should see some playoff series. Dan Kazrowski to bat with 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning. Jose Flores on the hill. Set the pitch. Just inside with a fastball for ball 1. 1 ball, no strike on Kazrowski. His walk has been safe on an error, and he has flied to right field. Flores to the plate. Pop foul straight back out of the ballpark. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. A lot of the fans standing right now. We're in the top of the 9th inning. The Explorers are trying to do something that no other team in the league has done this year, and that would be take a series from St. Paul. They have won every series this year. They've already won the North Division of the American Association. 1 ball, 1 strike on Kazrowski. Flores with a 1-1 pitch. Swing! One ball, two strikes on Dan Kazrowski. 2 out, top of the ninth. Explorers leading it 4-3. Flores ready with the pitch. Foul. That would be out of the ballpark off the first base side. Looked like Kazrowski just basically spoiled that pitch. Looked like it was kind of up and out of the strike zone. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes on Dan Kazrowski. Matty Johnson slides a little bit toward right center field. Jose Flores from the stretch and the pitch. Ground ball toward shortstop. Perillo on the big hop on the first. This one belongs to the Explorers. The first time this season that St. Paul has lost a series. The Explorers do it in comeback fashion with 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. In the 9th for St. Paul. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. The final score tonight, the Explorers 4, St. Paul 3. Totals, highlights coming up next on KSCJ.
Gather up a group of friends, co-workers, customers, employees, or youth sports teams, and come out to Lewis and Clark Park to watch the Explorers in action this season. To add a little extra to that group outing, we have a great lineup of food options to complement your outing, including the ever-so-popular all-you-can-eat